Hello, everybody. I'm Heidi, and here is
Mark, yes.
And this is an attempt to reduce the talk we gave yesterday on the Wisdom Factory, which was 56 minutes, to reduce it to about 20 minutes. And what we are talking about today is about getting older and how it was seen in the past and how it could be in the future, because we are going to present aging, integral aging, a challenge to take on the Integral Conference, European Integral Conference in Hungary. It's next week.
Yeah.
No, the week after next week.
Yes, about
if
10
you want
days,
to
about 10
join us
days.
there or afterwards get the replays or whatever they will send out, it is from the 4th to the 8th of May. And you can go to the website IEC.com, I think, integraleuropeanconference.com, and to do the booking. And before that, there is a course of spiral dynamics, and Mark will go there. I unfortunately cannot go. And it is held by the founder of Spiral Dynamics, Don Beck, and by Said Talibani, Elsa Malouf, and Ben Ziganti, who was organizing the conference, and another person, I haven't present the name now. Anyway, these are the main figures of spiral dynamics, which means the levels of development in human consciousness and the social psychological development, I want to say, because it might not be the whole thing, but
but it's a training course.
It's a training course, a certification training course, and this starts Saturday in a week, 30th of April. So if you want to go there, and you really, it's highly recommendable. How do you say? Recommendable, because it opens up the mind in a great way. Today we will use this model in this talk we are giving here, but we sort of assume that you know what it is. We will talk about colors, and if you are not
sure, shorthands, of course.
Yeah, these are shorthands. Yeah. Colors mean certain colors are attributed to certain levels of development, which don't really mean anything. By chance, some are similar what you would intuit, like the green level, but they are only a symbol, a name for a certain level, for not to have to talk a long time. So when we say we are in green, we are in beige, we are in red, we know what level of development we are talking about. Yeah. And if you are interested, really check it out. Spiral Dynamics by Don Beck is the book, and then there is the course in Budapest. With that, we begin and do our talk.
This is our stuff. Okay, we've spent 4 minutes on that. We have 1 minute left in our
No, this is not our official thing. Come on.
Okay. Well, the thing we want to do is, first of all, ask a few questions, because, of course, obviously, we are all getting older. We've been doing that all our life. But at a certain point in our life, we come to some kind of realization that we are getting older. And what does that mean? You know, what does that really mean? How do you feel about it? If you've come here, you may have some interest in aging, and you may have asked yourselves these questions. So we'd like to hear about that. And please, were we doing this live, we'd love to have you interrupt and add whatever occurs to you as we go along.
What do you combine with the idea of getting older? Okay, and the other thing we will talk later is ageism. And ageism can be also in very young age. For instance, ageism is if a person cannot have, with 17 or 16 or 15, cannot have their own business account in the bank, as we learned shortly.
Yes, from a young person who is very successful at doing a business. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Why are we interested in this topic? Well, obviously because we have a certain age. But
yes, we do. And we, of course, each have our stories, and we're going to do that very quickly. You may be able to identify with some of it, maybe a lot of it, but it's our story. At age 50, I found myself sort of put on the shelf professionally. I'd been working at a professional level in drug and alcohol counseling for some 10 years, and the laws changed, the professional requirements changed, and the facility was closed. I was without a job. What to do? I was 50. Nobody wanted to hire me. You know,
You're too old with 50.
I'm over the hill. I thought I was just getting to my prime. But anyway, for the next 12 years or so, until I could finally retire, I was reduced to more and more, I won't say menial, but jobs that I was overqualified for. Let's put it that way.
And you didn't really like.
No, and I didn't enjoy them. And so I was really happy to retire at age 62, even though there was a 25% penalty for retiring early in America. And that led me to what I thought would be the ideal life. No more work, retired to a community in Florida that I could afford near the sea with other older people, and on and on. And I got really bored within a few months. I had been very good at waiting to retire, but not very good at being retired. And so it became a spiritual crisis. I had to do something, and I looked around and found some things online by then, fortunately, and we got to Eckhart Tolle, we got to John Beck, we got to Andrew Cohen, we got to What is Enlightenment, that wonderful magazine, and finally to Ken Wilber. And reading A Brief History of Everything, my life changed. It was wonderful. And we set out in a new direction, and that made all kinds of contacts online possible that were very fruitful, that were not available in the retirement community where I was living.
So you are talking about finding more purpose and more interest in life,
right.
and more understanding
Yep.
of life. For me, it was a little bit different. I was confronted with 30 as a classical thinker, 34 or 35. When I finally knew how to sing, I was at the end of 30, and I was too old. I couldn't do that anymore. So I'm interested in getting older because I think I don't want to be young anymore. I want to get the wisdom and the experience I have and the knowledge I have gained. I want to bring it out into the world. And that is my reason why I'm interested in this topic, and why older people have so much difficulty to be accepted in bringing their contribution to the world. For gratis, yes, but you know, if you want to do it as have some money for it too, why you should give your place to younger ones.
Yeah.
But you know, if you don't have a good pension, and I don't, so you need to work, and you cannot work in the same rhythm as the others. So this led all these things and thoughts led us to thinking about what is it about aging and what is it about getting older. And we would like to begin to use biodynamics and to begin in the very lowest level, which is the survival level. Getting older, I mean, you hardly survived. So that was not very normal that you got over 30 or 35 in times when it was pure survival. And then in the next, which is called the purple level, and it's biodynamics, which is the magic level of consciousness.
Magic, yes, that is the tribal level. Yep.
The tribal level. In the tribe,
we have a much more sophisticated structure. We have that's people who are assigned roles, and they don't have much ego involvement themselves. They're part of a tribe. They
don't have ego yet. They are defined by their part inside of the tribe. But they have a connection. And so if somebody happened to get older, and there were few people who got old even then, these older people were really considered a source of wisdom and a sort of a history book because there was no writing in this time. So older people were really adored, how do you say?
Revered.
And held up as a treasure. And when you were an elder, you could be sure that that you had a secure place in this society.
That's right. That was quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, and actually there are still tribal societies in Africa or some other places, and that's where still the elders are seen as somebody to look up to and to learn from too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we come to the next level.
Yeah, because somewhere along the line somebody said, I'm not going to listen to those old farts. I'm going to, do what I want. And the ego develops, and we have the next stage, the red stage, where power is what matters. It is simply what I can get away with.
And mainly physical power.
That's right.
And elder people don't have so much physical power.
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, so it's from that point of view they're already disadvantaged.
Yeah.
And then in this level of development, people, when they fight, the fights often end with one of the parties dead.
Yeah.
So the chance of many people getting older was not really there.
Yeah.
So it was not really a big deal. And maybe
in terms of longevity, this was not a step upward.
The few people who were getting older probably needed to have a role, a position which they had built up before, a power position, so that they could maintain it even if they didn't have any physical power anymore. So they were leaders, let's say, and the power gods.
They were gods, yes, themselves, you bet.
Okay, now we go to the next stage, and this is what is very prevalent still in the world. It's the conventional stage.
The mythic stage. Blue, okay.
We have a story which we believe in and which gives us the rules where we are happy to live in. We know where our place is.
Yeah.
And in this society, an older person has a role.
Oh, definitely.
Mainly as grandparents, I would say. But they have a role, and they are not put aside.
They are cared for.
They are cared for, and they are normally in the family, traditional families, they are multi-generational families, so the older people are cared for. They are maybe not like in tribal ages adored and seen as the biggest source of wisdom, but they are there.
They are included in the circle of care.
Yeah. But the young ones would like to take over and lead the business. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
So then we come to the next stage, and this is for older people a real problem.
Oh, yes. Suddenly that circle of care, that the conventional stage, is starting to break down, and people are motivated by other reasons, for other concerns.
They want to earn money, and they want to be tough in a different way. They want to find out what they can do, what is their potential in a way of economic resources and of success and of standing out.
Achievement
is the big word in this society. So
it comes along with economic development, so that people are measured by what they can produce and how much they can consume.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we get past that point where we can be so terribly productive, and our income is often less, and so we're not great consumers. And so what does modern society do?
Yeah, and on the other hand, this is the first stage of development where there are really a whole lot of old people, because medicine has developed and the lifespan has increased dramatically.
Yeah.
So the times where we are in, we don't die with 40 anymore. Some do, but normally not. We can expect 80, even more, to live. So we are at the same time a whole lot of older people, and at the same time have less significance in society, because we are not a good consumer and not a good achiever, because we are kicked out with 50.
Out of public life, by and large, and so we get the short end of the stick in care. Yeah, definitely.
So then comes the next stage, which is quite developed in America and in Europe.
Sure.
And this is what we call with green. This is the
this is the reaction to orange. And these people in green want to include all the marginal people, every race, both sexes, different sexual orientations, and including
handicapped people,
absolutely,
and
right?
they give
all these unproductive
animals
people.
too, animals, you know. So everybody has a right to live, which is a wonderful thing, and everybody has a right to be cared for, which is a wonderful thing too. The thing is, how do you do it? In the case of elder people, if you are provided with things, this is good. But if it is an over care, then you take off the dignity and the responsibility of an older person.
Yeah.
If in short, what mothers often do, they do everything for their children. They clean up their rooms, they do cook, they do everything, and don't teach the children to be autosufficient by themselves. The same thing happens with older people, only in the other way around. If you don't allow older people to do the things for themselves, you sort of make them, you kill them before they're dead, you know, because we need from science that we need a stimulus in life to go on. And this is what happens with many people who are in, what you said about boredom, who are in a pension, that they don't find any sense in life anymore.
Life on the plantation was not stimulating at all.
Yeah, so they often, after a pension, after 2-3 years, many men die, while women have some other interests to volunteer work or whatever, but often it happens to men that they have no sense in life. So this is where the first 6 stages of development. Then we go into what we call the integral stage of development, or second tier. And we want to explore this in this workshop we are doing together.
This is where we are now.
What do we need? What is indispensable, and what we really don't need and don't want. And so we thought about
well, we could look at the quadrants briefly.
Yeah, the quadrants is the integral theory model of 4 quadrants of reality.
Yeah. And so we start in the Wilberian model, the upper left up here. That's the inside of each of us as individuals. You know, what are we thinking about? What are we feeling? What are our fears? What are our concerns? What are our fantasies? All the internal world, you know, just us individually, each of us individually.
So exploring the possibilities of older age, when we have a certain pension, we don't have to run every day for money, we have a little bit more time. So we can engage a little bit more in our internal life, in spirituality, but not only. Also, you know, just awareness. Being in the now, when what you said with Eckhart Tolle, we have more time to do that, which you don't have when you have 5 children around and a job. So this is a very great gift of older age in the lower upper left quadrant.
And what would we like it to be? This is the way it is. What would we like it to become? Do we have any direction we want to go?
This is what we would like to explore with the people. In my idea, what I like to become is that this would be the lower left quadrant, that we connect together, share our experience, share our stories, and let younger people know that we are not the grown-up people. They always thought we know everything and we are, I don't know, weird or whatever, but tell them how life was for us. And not only the outside fact, but especially the inside fact. How our fears are, how our hopes are. I think we have the sort of the duty to let other people know how our lives went, because otherwise they have no idea how past was. In some way, we have the role of the of the purple elders
in some ways.
to by talking, not writing too, but talking, let people know who you are and how you have grown into what you are. So because they need
can do
guidelines.
that too.
The big problem of our time that there are no real role models anymore. Because, who do they follow?
Yeah.
We don't want that they follow us, but that they have a choice to see, for them it was also difficult. Because it seems afterwards, when you have passed the crisis, it seems as was no big deal, but actually it was.
And it still is.
Yeah. So this is one of the aspects of the upper left quadrant. Let's go to the lower left.
The lower left is the we space, that world we share with other people. Not in a formal kind of way, not in court and not in the legal system and so forth, but just in our community level.
And this would be a big challenge because many old people are alone and feel abandoned and feel lonely. So I think we would need to create communities, not only between older people, because you had that in Florida.
Yeah,
this is boring.
That didn't work.
But make ourselves interesting enough for younger people to be with us. You remember in childhood when you went to grandmother and she told stories? How nice was that? It's now our time to do that. And if we don't have our own grandchildren, we have now these means, internet, whatever, we can tell our stories there. And I think it would be a good idea.
It would be very good. And this is terribly important because older people often feel terribly lonely.
That's what I said.
And so concomitantly, the biggest single ingredient in a healthy, happy older age is relationships.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And even intimate relationships.
Yeah.
You can marry with 80.
Intimate relationships?
Yes. This is another thing. We have to create a big we to stand up and say we are full people.
Yeah.
When we are 60, we are not without sexuality, as society probably wants us to be, and even with 80. For men, seems to be, okay, Charlie Chaplin had a daughter with 80 or something. But women think when they are over menopause, then sexuality is gone. Not all women, but there is somehow this strange thought. So we have to come together and to work on these taboos and work on the false beliefs we are carrying with us individually and as a culture.
Yeah. And of course there's menopause, but there's also manopause, which involves men getting older. And they start to question themselves, their role, their virility. There's often a decrease in actual physical virility. And so how do you have sexual expression under those circumstances? Yeah. This is something to learn.
By the way, we are offering an online course about intimate relationships in older age. In the second half of life,
yes.
I will say.
Okay.
And if you're interested, contact us at thewisdomfactory.de.
Yeah.
Okay, now we go to the upper right.
Upper right. And that is ourselves as physical bodies, and what happens to us as we get older. Well, we all know that there is at some point some decline, and it has to do with, this is where we have to take care of ourselves. This is where we have to, check our various systems and have analyses and check out what's going on. This is where research happens for longevity, and some amazing things are going on in that department too. But this is actual, what's our
self-care. I would say physical self-care, while on the left, in the upper left, is emotional spiritual self-care, mental self-care. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is part of it? This is our credo. Not just eat tons of pills because your doctor says you need it. Do you really need it? Check it really out. If the body is not the one thing you consider and your other life another thing, but then doctors are tempted to just cure the body, but it has connections. So this is the time where we have to find out. We it would be a task in this time of our life to really find out the connection between body, mind, and spirit.
That's right. And of course,
and not just take pills.
Shortcuts to health with side effects.
And so we go to the lower right, because this is part of the thing. We are subject to
the society that we live in, to the healthcare system itself, which varies from country to country. And it's a little strange in America because when you're old enough, you get virtually free healthcare, but you have to get old enough to get it.
Instead of prevention, no?
And so in Florida, we had these lovely geriatric palaces where everything was covered, for free.
And this is the overcare, this often is not in your service, in the service of life and your well-being, because think about what, with all the pills, when he came over to see me, he had, I think, 5 or 6 different pills. And I said, what do you need it for? I said, stop it, and we check everything, blood pressure and so on, and diabetes, and it turned out that he didn't have anything he needed any pill for. But think about the side effects these pills have. So our institutions want us to take this because they want to work. They are working on our health and our belief that we are getting older, and our health, not on our illnesses and our beliefs.
Right, not on our health, but on
our beliefs that when we get older, things don't work anymore, and though we need a help by chemical or whatever ways. Sometimes we do, but not in the way as they make us believe.
So in a sense, the aging industry is actually a youth industry, postponing, denying, putting away.
This is the cultural thing that we think we need to be young all the time.
Yeah.
And so they try to find out cosmetics or pills to get young. It has something good about it, but mainly it is not serving to a healthy living in whatever age you are. Because paradoxically, there are people who are 30 and think they are old. You don't have to be 80 to think.
I thought I was old at 30.
So these are the false beliefs, and they go into the upper left quadrant, the interiors of us. What are our beliefs about life? But I think we stop here.
Yeah, we do.
And we see like a sort of summary. What is the perspective? What could we do to change a little bit and go ahead in our lives?
I think you said it just a moment ago. We have to start with ourselves, our own thinking, the ways that we're caught up in these old stories and believe them ourselves. How can we expect the rest of the world to listen to us and believe us when we're caught in the same old stories?
So what you say, we need to become very aware
Yes.
of what we are believing, of what we are saying. We are often ourselves very ageist. We say, for my age, I'm quite mobile, aren't I?
Well, are you mobile or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So looking at all these factors, what we are doing, what we are thinking, and then connect together with other people and elaborate that, get support by others when we are stuck, and work together on creating a new culture about getting older. And as I said, it begins with, let's say, 20 or even after birth, getting older, So, but what we mean is the second half of life. And connect and create a new culture. And do the things for our bodies which are right, but not overdo. I mean, if you run 20 or 30 kilometers as an 80-year-old, if you have done it in youth, maybe, but if you begin just now, it wouldn't be the right thing. That's as an example.
Oh, that's what Orange calls successful aging.
Yeah. But it's not really, because it gives another heavy duty on you, which the body is a good animal. It can learn, but slowly. So don't just decide tomorrow you do a 10-mile run when you never have run before. So be aware of what is really good of your body. And then we need to step up politically.
Oh, absolutely.
For creating new institutions or better institutions which take us us
No, which
people
we take
into account,
into account.
because
Right.
we have to create that. We cannot expect them to
No.
do it, because we are not existent.
No.
We are invisible.
No.
So we need to become visible.
Yeah.
And this is part of what we are doing. And I hope
this is our attempt.
Yeah, you step up and become visible. To join us, and we can do a campaign on internet, wherever. Become visible as elder people, and step up for what we need and what we desire, and what we can give.
Absolutely. It's not a selfish thing. This is good for everybody. Everybody.
Yeah. And remember, if you don't die before, you will get in elder age. Okay, bye-bye.